So I'd like to talk about the first thing that you mentioned, which was really about, are you able to detach, to disconnect from your life, from your world, from your people? And I was pointing out to you that if you don't disconnect and detach, then you are over-connected and you are over-involved through your roles, through your identity, through your ideologies in this world. You get lost and locked in this world. We must be able to detach from people, from things, from experiences, from activities. We must be able to say no, even to the things that we desire. You've got to be able to say no before you can say yes. The importance of being okay without and knowing that you're okay without is very critical in this teaching, especially if you want to experience security. And so I asked that, can you spend an hour by yourself? Can you spend a day by yourself? Can you spend a weekend by yourself, or maybe a week by yourself? Can you? I'm not saying that you should or that you must, but I'm asking if you can. Can you, by yourself, without any contact with anybody? No phone, and just by yourself, with yourself. Because as I was explaining to you, that it's only when you by yourself, with yourself, that you can really connect with a greater presence, beyond time and space, a multidimensional awareness. Now, the prophets and the messengers did this. The Prophet Muhammad went to the cave, and he sat in the cave. That was his thing. He couldn't hang outside because it's too hot. So he would withdraw from society, withdraw from his family, withdraw from his wife, withdraw from friends, and he would retreat. This is, a tradition of the Prophet, retreat. To go and be by yourself, with yourself, to be in solitude, without the usual activities of the personality. If you go and sit in a cave, there's nothing to do there. No TV, big screen, whatever. You know what I mean? You're just in a cave by yourself, with yourself. What are you doing there? Solitude. That's what he used to do. That was his practice. You understand? He had a spiritual practice before the angel came to visit with him. Before he attracted that agency of Gabriel, he was developing himself. Quiet the mind, quiet the activities, out the trances, and just be still. So he did it. He did it, and he was able to connect multidimensionally, at the level that he did. And this is encouraged generally by various spiritual practices to, for us to engage in. So we can, to some degree or another, be still. And I told you my life also changed when I found no solutions in the world and there was nothing I could do in the world. I hit rock bottom, and I used to just be on the bed, within myself, with myself, just be. Nothing to do. You just let go. You release. I released, nothing to do. I just be present and experience beyond my mind the present moment. And I would do that. And it is through doing that the connection, was strengthened with me. That I can now maintain a connection multidimensionally and have an experience. It was through letting go, doing nothing very well, just being, no stories, nothing, for minutes, for hours, that I created a space within me, between me and the world, where God could come in, spiritually speaking, metaphorically speaking, God could come in. I created a space for me to connect with God, for me to be aware of God and to experience God. I created that space, see. And when I did, I was guided of how to proceed, how to heal myself, how to continue along the path. That there was a role that I was to play in my own healing. There's always a role for us to play in our own lives. It wasn't like, oh, in that moment, all of a sudden I was healed. You have to let go. There is an important part of the process of spiritual growth that is letting go and surrendering. You don't do that. You can't have a deeper and richer experience of truth. When you release and heal, that's when you can receive. The only time you can receive is when you release. That's why we speak about healing and revealing, releasing and receiving. There has to be a releasing. There must be a letting go, a surrendering. And as we let go and as we surrender, there's a space created for us to operate within and receive. So it's the healing first, then the revealing. The healing is the letting go, the surrendering, the releasing, and the revealing is the receiving, the letting in. See, you let go and then you let in. And I had to go through that process, and that's what seems to be the process that people generally go through. And so when I was asking the question yesterday that, would we be interested in going out for an hour to some place, nice scenic, just to be there and do nothing there, and not to talk to each other, just to be practicing presence, and no phones, no talking, no stories, no thinking about anything. You can observe, you can see the beauty of where you are, you can appreciate. All that you can do, but no analysis, no getting into time and space through the mind. How long can we be still by ourselves and without engagement from others, without putting something on television, without in some way, reacting to something, doing something about something, trying to get something to change. These are the two major trances, the two parts of the trances, the major and the lesser, the greater and the lesser trances, which is, I believe I need, and I believe it needs to be different. See, I need something, or it needs to be different. It needs to change. I need it to change. So one is about getting something, then I'll be okay, and the other one is needing something to change. One is about bringing something in and moving something out, and the other one is I need it to change, it needs to change, it needs to be different. See, so they're essentially the same thing, a belief in need, but there's a subtle difference between these two trances. One is about I'll be okay when I get rid of something. That's a major trance. That's the trance of the beggar. And the lesser trance, which is also a significant trance, is it needs to be different. I need it to be different. It has to change. It must change. I need it to change. I need to avoid feeling bad. I need to avoid feeling bad. I need to not feel bad. I need relief. I need safety. I need excitement. See, I need to feel good. So the first trance is, I need to feel okay. I need to feel okay. Which also is like, I need to be free. I need to be able. I need to be powerful. But you already are free. But you already are okay. But you already are able. No, I need to be okay. The second trance is, I need to feel good. I need to feel good. Or it can be said maybe in a way like this: I need to feel good to be okay. The first one is I need to be okay. I need to be free. I need to be able. I need to be secure. But you already are secure. The second one is I need something to change, somebody to change. It's needed to change for me to feel good. For me to feel good, something is needed to change, to be different. Somebody needs to be different for me to feel good. I'm feeling bad and I must change something to avoid feeling bad. I need to not feel bad. I need to not be displeased. I need to not be dissatisfied. I need to not be unhappy. See? I need to not be disappointed. I need to not be disturbed. And that's not really true. But again, a person will believe that. And that's what we might want, not to be disturbed. We might enjoy not being disturbed. But is it needed that we not be disturbed? No, it's not needed. So we can begin to become more present and more aware, more connected, more of a space between us and the world, because we are releasing the ego self, or releasing the affected self, or the needy self, however we want to say it, that part of us that believes in need. The more we release it, the less we are identified with the world, the less we are attached to the world, the more we can be multidimensionally free, experience ourselves as what we are, multidimensionally free, multidimensionally secure, the belief in need. So when I asked the question yesterday, I didn't ask like, can you go and stay in the middle of the jungle by yourself? Because that's going to bring up a lot of different things for your ego to justify. And I'm just asking, that can you in your own house, if there was nobody there, for an hour, be totally comfortable. For a day, be totally comfortable. For a weekend, be totally comfortable. For a week, totally comfortable. For a month if you want to. But my point is there some degree of non-identification? Because some people say, but I need my child to look after them, that over-involvement in looking after, people-pleasing and all that sort of thing. So people need, but they believe they need somebody to care for, and if they care for them, they'll feel good. That's called the trance, the addiction trance. That it is through caring for people that I feel good. In the meantime, they don't feel good. They're just avoiding being by themselves and the feelings that are within them. And they might just be thinking, I like being liked. I like when I'm getting worth out of this. Oh, I get some worth. This is worth. Self-worth. The more I look after people, I feel better about myself. So as long as I look after people, I feel good about myself. You see, I have worth and value in being of value to others. It is through my being of value to others that I have value. So that is an addiction. So a person like that will say, but I need to feel good, and to feel good I need to please people. Sometimes other people just require to be, they just require to be in a state of constant activity, keeping busy. And if you tell them now, just be, nothing to do, they're like, I don't know, I need to do things. I need to keep busy for me to feel okay. When I'm busy, I feel okay. If I'm not by myself, if I'm not lost in something, I don't feel okay. I need to be busy. I need to feel okay. And through my doing, through my engaging, through my relating, through my, and sometimes it might just be, so somebody says, I can watch, a whole weekend TV, Ashraf. I can watch television, I can watch Netflix a whole season. I have no problem. That's also distraction, because you are focused into something and you're losing yourself in a book or in a story or in a movie or in a person or in an activity or something. So, others will say, just leave me with a packet of cigarettes and I can be alone forever. Again, losing yourself in some activity. So I'm asking the question without telling you to go in the middle of the boondu where somebody can threaten you and all that. In a relatively normal circumstance in life where your life is not in any danger or threat of any kind, in a situation where you have nothing really to worry about, can you be without people, things, activities? Can you just be, and nobody's asking you to be in like confinement of a prison cell or something like that. You can sit, walk outside, whatever you want by yourself. You can carry on, but not in a I'm lost in something mode, in somebody, in an interaction. Can you be still? So the reason why I was asking this is to observe how deep is the control of the trances in your life. How deep is the control of trances? Because if the trances are controlling you, you're not going to be still. You're not going to be with yourself, by yourself. You're not going to be like the prophet in the cave, chilling and just being, where you open up and you have, insight and information. Because I have a very rich experience within my being, even though I'm not doing anything. I become aware. I said awareness is no problem. You're not thinking. Awareness doesn't involve thinking. So I have ideas, I have brainstorms, I have a whole lot of things happen if I'm by myself, just relaxed, and if I give focus to something, I get information coming through because I'm receiving. Because I'm not lost, I'm receiving. I can be aware, I can contemplate, I can reflect. And the Quran encourages that. Contemplation, reflection, and it is part of a spiritual tradition in different forms of mysticism. All sorts of religious teachings actually have a sort of support for be still and know God, be still, surrender, release, go into a place of worship where you're not distracted and disturbed. What is that about? It's again going into retreat from the world. It's a place of worship where there's nothing for you to do. Sadly, religious people go there and they get very busy. They get busy in places of worship with ritual and all sorts of things. They miss out on the point of going there and being still and contemplating truth. Just being. So they themselves are addicts. There's religious addicts. There are people who are religious addicts. They do compulsively, and they have no awareness through their doing. They maintain lostness in the ego, identification with the ego, and you can see it in their being, in their face, or whatever it is. There is no peace. There's no presence. They're highly compulsive. So I don't have a problem with that. It's not my problem whether people are compulsive or not. But if you are my student and I am guiding you and I'm giving you powerful insights to support security, and you are nowhere in the vicinity to receive those insights and to be aware of them and apply yourself with those insights, then it's water off a duck's back. I'm wasting my time talking to you. So in order to support you having a greater experience of security, because security is the first power center. From security, you can proceed to selffulness, the second power center. The first power center is spiritual power. The second power center is personal power. And the third power center is creative power, which is satisfaction. Nobody is going to experience satisfaction without being selfful. And nobody is going to be selfful without being secure. I mean, think about it. Who that is operating as a needy beggar trying to get things can be selfful? Which person lost in trying to get something to feel okay? First trance. Or trying to get something to change to feel okay? Who that is controlled through a trance and is trying to get is got the space to relate to themselves. So I'm asking you, are you controlled to the degree that you are promoting insecurity? Are you controlled to the degree that you are promoting being controlled? Are you unconsciously supporting insecurity? Are you living in a way that makes sure you do not experience being with yourself or just being first? Do you keep yourself from just being? Do you keep yourself from just being? And so compulsive activity is the thing. And sometimes people might not be doing activity like what we know it to be: people pleasing, workaholism, religious addiction, obvious things like gambling, people pleasing, caretaking, focusing on something in the world, being controlled by it, focusing on something in the world, trying to control it. It might be not as obvious as an activity like that, taking drugs, trying to get the drug, consuming the drug. Their life is controlled by the drug. It's quite obvious, what we're talking about here for somebody who wants to see what I'm talking about. As I told you, our teaching is not a religious teaching. It is a pragmatic, spiritual teaching that is about how we be in the world. How are we operating? Are we operating from a higher level of humanity or human excellence? Or are we operating, depriving ourselves the potential of human excellence? No needy beggar and no trying to avoid feeling bad addict is going to live at a level of human excellence. It's not going to happen. That's why beggars are not anything that we inspire our children to grow up to be. One day, why don't you become a beggar and beg on that street corner? Get money for nothing. That's the best thing to do. Whoever says become a beggar? You understand? When I grow up, I want to be a beggar. You understand? Nobody does that because there's nothing at all attractive about being a beggar and inspiring about being a beggar. And beggars, so controlled are they by something in the world that they don't care for themselves, and they don't then open up to give caring to others, and they don't receive caring from others. They live a life below human excellence. The same thing with an addict. People don't say, I want to be an addict when I grow up. How nice it is to feel good whenever you want to by controlling your body and things like that. You don't say that to your children, become an addict when you grow up. Stay away from drugs, not good for you. You'll wreck your life up. So, yes, in the typical sense of being a beggar and an addict and a victim, you want your children to blame, find people to blame. Don't take responsibility for what you want in your life. Don't go and create what you want. Don't invoke God's good for you in this world and the world beyond. Live in suffering, but blame everybody. That's a wonderful thing to do. I've done it for 20 years as your mother. I've done it as 20 years as your father. It's the best thing to do. Live a shallow life without really aspiring for what potentials you have to be and become, to what possibilities that exist for you to live. Just deprive yourself completely of God's good for you in this world and the world beyond, and just blame your husband. Just blame somebody else. It's wonderful. My mother did it before me. Her mother did it for me. You must do it, my daughter. You must grow up and be in our family. Nobody says that. If you say that, you're mad. You're crazy. Because that's discouraging of people's growth and development and potential and possibilities and what there is for us to live with God. God's good for us in this world and God's good for us in the next world. Who wants to deprive that? Who wants like that? Only people who are lost in trances. Only people not operating from a higher level of awareness and higher level of application. You see, so that's what I ask you. Do you want to be an average Illuminati? Do you want to be like the average Illuminati? Yes, with all due respect, maybe our mothers and fathers were it. Maybe our brothers and sisters may be it. Maybe our children may be with some of us. So, but do you want to live controlled by trances that rob you of the potential of being what you can be and what you can become, what you can live and what you can experience? Do you want to remain in a, stagnation, spiritual stagnation, personal deterioration, and life deprivation? Is that because that's what the average Illusionati lives? And I don't, you might say, but I know somebody, they make a lot of money, and I know somebody and they have a nice car. They could just be a glorified beggar. They could just be a glorified addict. They could just be a glorified victim. It's just looking very nice and shiny and all that, but not really. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? So we're asking the question here, can we become aware? Can we grow up beyond the personality, beyond our childhood personality, beyond our teenage personality, beyond our young adult personality, beyond our adult personality that we've been living all along? And can we observe it? Can we? Somebody might say, she's always helpful. She never says no. Always ask her for what you want. She'll never say no. Now you might say, that's my personality. Ashraf, that's my personality. Is it really a personality, or is it a trance, a personality trance that you are in? So I asked the questions yesterday to support us, to see what are we controlled by, what trances are we living, what are we trying to control, and to recognize that that will stop you from being still enough to make a study of a teaching like this, or truth teachings. You won't be interested in truth. You won't be interested in God. You won't be interested in the fact that you are in the care of the one that is the all-sufficient. You then won't have the experience of security. If you are controlled by something, including your unhappiness, I am so unhappy, I get so focused on my unhappiness, and I was telling you, it's not just activities that people are controlled by, but people are controlled by, beyond compulsions, they're also controlled, by obsessions. Always thinking about the same thing, thinking, obsessions. See, so we want to see, to what degree can you be still? To what degree can you stop the thinking, drop the thinking? Stinking thinking. To what degree can you drop it? Just drop it. Now there are people who can't drop it, I know them. They have to think something. They have to do something. They have to say something. They have to fight for their rights or whatever they believe they're doing, standing up for themselves. In the meantime, they are obsessive. They are compulsive. They are powerless. They think they're doing something wonderful because they need to say what they need to say. They need to fight back. They need to, whatever it is the need is. So it's just addicts. It's just glorified addicts. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we may be. That's what others may be. Addicts. And we've got to see it. That we may be addicts and beggars and victims, and others may be addicts and beggars and victims, and have compassion for ourselves and others. Instead of reacting to others or others reacting to us, it's just to observe. Powerlessness in action here, you know what I mean? We're observing a trance in ourselves or in others. It's just a trance. They are having temporary insanity. They are taken. In that moment, they think they are in control, they think they are saying things, but in the meantime, all they are is taken. They're taken. Making bad situations worse. They are not surrendering. So the questions were asked, posed to you yesterday, they were to observe what are you controlled by and to what degree are you controlled by that. Because if you are identified with these trances and they control you at an extreme level, you might not even have time to rest, to be still, to learn, to grow, to do things for yourself. And this is why we see people neglecting themselves. Sometimes we see people neglecting themselves. And they might say, well, I have a lot of things to do in the world, Ashraf, but that's a sign when somebody is neglecting themselves. Their health, no time to care for their body, grooming. So you can begin to see, of course, your health can become an obsession. Your health can become a compulsivity. Your grooming might become compulsive. So you can be compulsive about it, but that might stop you from being still. And this is why we, start people off with being on the bed and easing up. Do you have time to practice release every day? 5 to 10 minutes average, use the track for 20 minutes. If people can do that, then congratulations. You have created a space where you can do nothing and you can do nothing very well. That is awesome. You're practicing letting go, being still, you're being at ease. From there you can open up and you can become aware. I'm a created being in a created world. My existence has been taken care of for me, and my continued existence is taken care of for me. I am in the care of God, universal creator. Everything created is in the care of God. God is truly the cause and championer of all that exists. God is truly the caring and considerate, the compassionate, the caretaking and cherishing. God is. So you can, from creating a space to be with yourself where you don't think and you don't do anything, you can start reflecting on God beyond time and space, and then becoming more and more conscious of God. And then you can start experiencing your connection and relatedness with God, that God is relating to you. You can realize you're being related to. Sometimes if somebody's caring for you, but you're too absorbed in something, you can't see somebody's caring for you. You understand? And in the same way, there is a power, and it is the only one power. It has caused everything to be, and everything that is in the care of that which has caused it to be. But you can't see that because you're too focused on somebody, something, thinking about somebody, doing something. You're too focused, you're compulsive, you're obsessive. Something is holding your attention. You can't allow something to be. You can't allow it to continue to be. You are saying, you are powerless, like an addict, just controlled by it. And you are losing power. You're leaking energy. So we ask the questions that you may become aware. To what degree are you an addict, a beggar? To what degree are you in a trance? Do you recognize that? And what is that personality you might think you are? I'm so nice. I love my children. I'm hardworking. What is your rationalization of your personality? How do you rationalize your powerlessness? And you think, it's such a lovely thing, and everybody thinks she's so nice like that, and So this is the questions were there to inspire you, to reflect. So the other thing that you're talking about, related to this, was looking to see where you are in terms of relationship with people. So we might have like a kinship, like family, What about family members who are in problems? I hear, Ashraf, that you're talking about Don't be a people pleaser and everybody, all and sundry, giving up your life for all and sundry, living your life like you are there as a prop in everybody else's life. Failing to own your own life, failing to live your own life because you are putting yourself as a prop in other people's life. You're not being the main actor in your own life, the protagonist in your life. You are being mainly a supporting act in somebody else's life. So what about family? What about a brother? What about a sister? What about a mother? What about a father? What about children? If you want to watch another movie, I told you about The Gambler, and you spoke about that, and in the movie The Gambler, we witnessed the protagonist actually powerless over gambling, experiencing himself as powerless, but basically he's trying to control an outcome. I can win, I can win, I can win, I can win, I need to win, I need to win, I need to win. I can do this, I can do this. If you really want to make more money, you obviously can make more money. There's, investments and business and entrepreneurship that you can definitely make more money. Gambling is definitely not the way to make more money. Somebody who believes that gambling is the way to make more money is mad. If that was the case, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and Donald Trump would be the world's biggest gamblers. They're not. None of the world's, successful people made their money through gambling. Maybe Saul Kerzner made his money through other people's gambling, but he is not a gambler. He takes advantage of people who are sick, and they get money from people who are powerless. That's what they do. Like those who sell alcohol profit from drunks and alcoholics. A large part of their income comes from it. There are people, but you won't find the heading up of, the breweries being alcoholics. You won't find that. It's not the way that they would choose, but they will sell it to other people for their profit, for a miserable profit. So the people who are really successful, they don't gamble. They don't gamble. But you see in the movie The Gambler, he's thinking that he can control it. He can control it. He can get something. But he's not going for it in a real way. Creative power, applying himself, supporting what he wants. He is going for it powerlessly. He's going about it the wrong way. You don't get more money by gambling. You lose money by gambling. You get into trouble by gambling. But he thinks, I can control this, and I can get it, and I can win, and I can win. He's setting himself up for disaster because he's believing a lie. He's not aware of truth. He's not seeing it for what it is. What it is destructive. This is not in any way valuable to him. It might be valuable to the gambling house, but it's not valuable to him. He doesn't want to see the truth, that what he's engaged in, that he thinks he can control and thinks he can win, is loss. His interest is destructive. He can't see he's being destructive because he believes he can control the situation and he can gain. He can gain from gambling. Can you gain from gambling? Not if you're the gambler. But if you're the house, of course. It's rigged. It's rigged. Those people with the casinos they don't go to casinos to make money. They start a casino, and other people who are trying to make money will lose their money to them. What a nifty thing. And in South Africa we got like a legitimate gambling that is lotto. What a nifty thing. Get people to lose money for a good cause. Because that's what it is. Give some people, a few of the people, a big, not even a big, but a chunk of it, but most of it goes to something. But most of the people are losing money. So, we want to see the truth about situations. the truth about the situation. I'm not judging anybody, I'm not judging anything. I'm just telling you the truth. And if anybody wants to disagree with me, you can disagree with me. But truth is evident. Gambling doesn't build a neighborhood. Alcohol doesn't build a neighborhood. It does more destruction for society than any good for anybody. So, a person can have an attitude like that, that I can control this man, I can control this woman, I can control this outcome, I can get what I want, I can make it happen, I can make it happen. I can help a family member. I can change a family member's plight. I can control, because that's what addictions are, really all about control. But you can't control. You don't have any power to control. We can't control. We can create, but we can't control. You can write that one down for me, please. We can create, but we cannot control. So, coming back to the situation about family members and all that, we want to see where are we trying to control people in our lives. If you see somebody who is got a problem with money, or whatever problem they have a problem with money. They have a consciousness that's creating problems. They are operating in a way that is causing problems. They have a lack of awareness. Remember, it's all about expanding awareness. You have problems because you don't have sufficient awareness. And people don't want to have sufficient awareness. You can write that one down too. People have problems because they have insufficient awareness. And perhaps the biggest problem is not wanting sufficient awareness. People have problems because they don't have sufficient awareness, or they have insufficient awareness. And perhaps the biggest problem is not wanting sufficient awareness. People don't want it. So when a person becomes aware of how they're behaving, like a gambler in that situation becomes aware, I have a thought that is problematic. I'm thinking in a way that's problematic. This is destructive. I can have more money, solidly, but not through gambling. Gambling is not the way to have more money. Whatever I'm believing about control is a need for excitement, that I believe I can control an outcome. It's a problematic thing. If I control an outcome, I'll feel better. I can control an outcome. And that's what I said to you. First trance is, I need to be okay. The second trance is, I need to control something. I need to change something. I need something to be different. It's all about control. If I cause it to be, I'll feel good. If I don't cause it to be, I won't feel good. The only way to feel good is to change it. Changing something will make me feel good. So we can have that same belief. I feel bad when I see a family member in financial challenge, and that bad might be sorry for them, that bad might be pity for them, that feeling bad might be shame for them, embarrassed about them, whatever that feeling bad might be. And we might think, okay, so I must avoid feeling bad, and let me control, let me give them some money, let me help them out to prevent them from pain or suffering, and to prevent maybe the image from going down, and so that I don't feel sad or depressed or ashamed, whatever it is. And we set out to control. So here's money for you, sister. Here's money for you, brother. Here's help for you, so and so. Here you go. That person is in that situation because they have a lack of awareness. They're not interested in having the sufficient awareness. They're going to have a low level of consciousness around money, and they're going to have a low level of experience around money. That's all that's going to happen, and it's going to continue. So you'll give them that money, like the gambling guy parts with his money. You'll give this person that you believe you love and care about your money, and you never see it again. It's like going down the drain. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Whatever money you give these people, or people who have problems with money, that money is gone. They didn't use it for their benefit. It's gone. You understand? So, what I'm talking to you about here is like, do you want to remain a naive child? Do you want to live as a grown-up, keeping yourself from human excellence? Do you want to keep yourself from human excellence? Do you want to live as a naive grown-up and just keep parting with your money to somebody that keeps blowing it in whatever way and there's no real benefit? You see, if you said the guy's got a good investment idea, and I think this can work for him and can also get some dividends, and you interact with him that in a way at best doesn't hurt you, and at worst, at best it doesn't hurt you, and at worst it actually harms you. You don't want to interact with people if it's going to cause you not to be benefited or to be harmed. You want to interact with people as long as you benefited and you're not harmed. If you're interacting with people and you're not benefited, it's not really beneficial to you. And if you're not harmed, that's a good idea, because if you're losing money to somebody else, and it's a very unhealthy relationship. So I was saying yesterday, if you're really interested in growing up, not that if you think you're interested in growing up, if you're really interested in growing up and somebody who is aware gives you awareness, like in this case, I'm giving you an awareness. I'm sharing with you something that you can see if you wanted to see. As an adult, you can begin to see that this is not a good idea to keep parting with money to somebody, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes, and for the rest of my life, my money will be gone, and one day down the line, I will be by myself, and I'll be thinking about all the money I gave that person, and they are not in any better situation, and I'm not in a better situation. What if I took that money and invested it, and I had dividends coming from it? And from those dividends, I actually shared part of it and I gave it for free. Now that's very different. You see, so nobody's saying don't give money to anybody. But we're saying that if you're giving money in a way that doesn't benefit you or causes you harm, you want to look at that. So if you think, every time I give my sister, my brother 10,000 rand at a time, and you think, if I invested that 10,000 and I invested another 10,000, I invest another 10,000, and I get returns on it, and whatever the returns are, and I say to my brother, what I can do for you is I've invested some money, and from the returns that I get from that investment, I am giving you the returns. Now that is not harming you, it's not costing you benefit, and because your capital is still there. You got your capital, it's there. You haven't lost it. Money is coming from that. You can take that money and do whatever you want with it, give it to him and say, this is my gift to you. I'm giving you this money. You understand? But you know that you didn't just take 10 grand and give it away to somebody, and another one, and another 10, and another 10. And one day it's 100,000, and another day it's 200,000, and before you know it's 500,000 rand. And you just keep giving it. There's no value of this money. Now this money can be time. As a resource, it can be time. You could be using your time talking to somebody about their problems over and over and over and over again. 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, and hours are just going by, and days are going by, it all adds up, and you could be using that time for something beneficial. For you. And for humanity. and for society. But you're wasting. It's not benefiting you, or it could be harming you. You're wasting your resources. So, if, for example, I keep telling people the same thing over and over again, I might as well take that time and write a book. I might as well take a time and do a recording. And say, here's a recording. Understand? Listen to this. Instead of giving people the same time and saying the same thing over and over again. I'd rather write a book, make a recording and say, here, listen to this recording, which I've done. There are people, Ash, can I have some of your time? I said, why don't you come to a workshop? I'm a bit busy and all that sort of thing. Just a little bit of your time. Ash, can I, bounce something off you? I said, why don't you come to a workshop? I don't like coming into groups, and I have a problem with groups and all that sort of thing. I don't like groups and all that. Can I have some of your time? Eventually I say, no, you can't have any more of my time. My time is available in the workshop. You want to come and learn, you come to the workshop. You want to benefit, you come to the workshop. Yeah, but like this. I said, well, that's where it is. But you know what I'll do? Because I care about you, I'm going to give you a part of that workshop as a gift from me. You don't owe me for it. I'm going to take some time, send you a transfer, Dropbox or WeTransfer. Here, you listen to. I don't have time to talk to you, but I'm sending you this. And that's a change in my personality, because if I have a child naive personality that people feel on their terms whenever they want something from me, they can just get it out of me, then I'm teaching people to, whatever they want from me, whenever they want from me, I'll give it to them. So they know we don't have to go to Ashraf's class. We can get him to talk to us for an hour of his time. And you know what? We are friends. He won't even charge me the 1,250 Rand an hour that he's, would charge people. You won't even charge me. So what am I? I'm thinking in my mind, I'm doing something good. I'm helping a friend. Am I really doing something good? The guy thinks he's gambling, he's thinking he's doing something good. Is he really doing something good? You might be thinking I'm helping a brother or a sister or a family member. Are you really doing something good? So if somebody tells me, Ashraf, how serious are you about leaving a legacy? How serious are you? Say you are serious about leaving a legacy. How serious are you? I'll say I'm very serious. Say, well, what is the most important thing if you want to leave a legacy? Well, it's time. Use your time to generate content, information to put out there. So, if your time is the most important thing, then why are you talking to so-and-so? Well, he's my friend. I like to help him. But you help people over the weekend. You help people over seminars. You have time set aside to help people. Why isn't he coming there? Oh, but he can't come there, whatever. So, Ashraf, so you do counsel people. Yeah, I do counsel people who come to my workshops. But you're giving this guy counseling, at least an hour of your time, at a time. Yeah, why are you giving him counseling when he doesn't come to you? You're not keeping up to your policies. Ashraf, you at least charge people something for the time when you give them time. There's some benefit to you. There's some value to you when you give people private consultation. Yeah, I do charge something, generally. Why don't you charge him? I can't charge him. He's not even a student. He's not even a client. But what are you doing talking to him if he's not a student and he's not a client? But he's my friend. But what are you doing with him? But aren't you the person who teaches people how to be aware and how to be conscious and how to operate? Yes. Is he interested in learning about awareness and growth and this and that? Doesn't look like. What are you doing with him? I think what I'm doing with him is trying to be a good friend. But is it of any value to him and to you? Truth be told, no. So I would see it, and if I'm really interested in leaving a legacy, I would say to the guy, I have no time for you. I have time to give you in a workshop. I have time to give students and that, but you're not a student of mine. I can't interact with you like you're a student. This thing requires study and it requires involvement. That person might be thinking, I can just do a hack with Ashraf, a quick fix with Ashraf. Ashraf will just tell me, through quick fixes, I'll get through in my life and I'll move forward in my life. There's no such thing. There's no quick fix here and quick fix there to move forward in your life. So I'm enabling his superstition, his superstition that we can just make one or two good decisions, and our lives will change, without really making the decision to grow spiritually and develop personally and open up to enrichment in life. So, if I ask you, what do you want? What's the most important thing? And you tell me, I want to grow up, Ashraf. I want to stop being a child. I want to stop living like a child. Then I say, look, you're in the right place, because that's my path too. My path is also about growing up, so that, not for the sake of being snotty and, be arrogant and show off, for the purpose of God's good for me in this world and the world beyond. That's for the purpose. For the purpose of God's good for me in this world and the world beyond. To live a natural, fulfilling, wholesome life in this world and beyond my death. That's what I'm interested in. So if I ask you, what's your highest value? You tell me, God's good for me in this world and the world beyond. I say, very good. So let me tell you about your personality. Your personality is naive. And your personality is operating in a way that's destructive. And if you hear me and you see it and you say, I got it, we hear and we shift. We hear and we accept. And you say, Ashraf, tomorrow no more. No more. The brother phones, the sister phones, the auntie phones, the uncle phones. You got any more money for me? This is now after how many years of giving money? And it's going to carry on. Now, is the child going to feel the feelings? Or let's say my friend phones, Ashraf, I need some of your time. I want to bounce something off you. I'm very sorry, I don't have the time to give corridor consultations with people. I don't do corridor consultations. At people's leisure, when it doesn't suit me, but it suits them, what they want, whenever they want. I don't do corridor consultations anymore. The friend takes offense and doesn't call me anymore, doesn't speak to me. It's good riddance. The adult in me says, I am not going to be used by people and act like that is a good relationship we got. The personality might say, but what a lovely friendship you got. You'll have a friendship. But when the moment you tell somebody your values and they shun you or shut you out, then you know it wasn't a real friendship. It wasn't what you thought it was. It wasn't what you thought it was. And as an adult, you can handle it. As an adult, you say, you know what, I'd rather see the person's truth. And the person doesn't care about me. The moment when I tell somebody the truth, that I don't do corridor consultation, you're most welcome to come to a workshop, you're most welcome to join in. I'll do a special rate or whatever it is. The person doesn't want to respect you and what you're doing. The person's taking advantage of you. I don't want a friend like that. As an adult, I say I don't want a friend like that. I'm just giving you as an example. Imagine if you had a shop. Trading hours are between, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. And your friend says, it's 8:30 in the night, can you open the shop for me? And you think, yeah, I'm such a good friend, I'll open the shop for you. I'm just giving you as an example. There's something not right with that picture. Like gambling in the movie, The Gambler, something's not right with that picture. Something's not right with that picture. But we don't want to see something is not right with that picture. The child doesn't want to see things for what they really are. The child doesn't want to see things for what they really are. The adult can and handle it too. The adult can see it for what it is and can handle it too. Child says, no, I won't handle my friend's rejection. That is something you want to observe and you want to say good riddance. If a friend tells you, you own a shop, give me whatever you got from your shop, I'm not going to pay you. that friend is not a real friend, because that friend is using you, taking advantage of you. Because stock in a shop costs. Instead of saying, oh, you got a lot of stock in your shop, give me whenever I want it. And that's not a friend, that's somebody using you. As adults, we've got to be aware of whether people are using us or people are abusing us, and we are enabling people's using of us and abusing us. So it might not be that somebody asking you for money is using you as much as you using yourself. Because people can ask, and if you act like you are, have so much of money to part with, and you got investments that are paying off big time, and you act like that, and people might think she's loaded, he's loaded, must be doing very well to part with money to me, and so let me keep asking. In the meantime, you haven't invested, you're not getting dividends, you're getting rid of your capital. Bad move. Bad financial move. Can be anybody, bad financial move. You might not want to stop giving, but you want to admit, bad financial move. Bad move. That's what I said to us. This is not about changing. I'm not asking you about changing anything. I'm asking, are you prepared to become aware as an adult beyond the child personality? Beyond the child part, are you wanting to speak the truth? Bad financial move. Keep giving the money if you want, but speak the truth. And that's what I was doing when I was on drugs and when I was powerless, and I kept doing it. When I smoked cigarettes, as a chain smoker, one going out, the next one coming in, I said, this is madness. This is destructive. This is harmful. I kept doing it, but I spoke the truth. See, it's that awareness. What we're talking about here, especially from yesterday, that it's the awareness of a motor vehicle and the controls of a motor vehicle. It's awareness of the road and the rules of the road. It's an awareness of how to relate with other motorists that allows you to drive on the road. Driving on the road is not something you just get in a car and you do. It's a whole lot of awareness that allows you to drive on the road. So it's not about saying yes or no to somebody. It's not about changing your behavior. It's about you becoming more and more aware. Becoming more and more aware. Is this that I'm doing destructive? Am I making bad decisions here as a child? What am I thinking about me? I'm a good little girl, I'm a good little brother, I'm a good little sister. What am I talking nonsense to myself about? What lies am I spinning to myself? But you won't see the truth about yourself and speak the truth about yourself if you really don't want to grow and you don't really want to develop. If it doesn't matter to you that you're living a spiritually impoverished life, if it doesn't matter to you that you are operating as a powerless addict, meaning you're not an adult, if it doesn't matter to you that you're depriving yourself, then nothing I'm saying is going to be valuable to you. If you're saying, I'm comfortable being a beggar, needy, I'm comfortable being an addict, I'm comfortable being a victim, then you're not going to hear anything I'm saying. The personality is, you're going to perpetuate your personality. You're going to carry on in the way that you're carrying on thinking, but that's the way I am. That's the way I am. I'm just a good sister. I'm a good brother. That's the way I am. And you won't grow. You won't become more aware. We told yesterday that growth is a function of greater awareness. The more aware you become, the more grown up you are. You've grown because you're more aware. If you're living, and I said to you today, if you're living without awareness, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem. So, oftentimes, when people come together like this, it's a distortion in both people's energy. Whether it's the gambler or the casino, both people are distorted. I told you it's a miserable profit. To profit and to cheat people in a legal way. To cheat people in a legal way. And the people who come there to be cheated, it's like lambs to the slaughter. You understand? It's lambs to the slaughter. You say, but they came on their own right. It's the adult right. It's a law that they can gamble. It's their choice. But these are sick people. They're lambs to the slaughter. Imagine opening up a place where people come to throw their money at you, and you see them coming in, and they're pathetic. They're pathetic human beings. You understand? I'm not judging. I'm just telling you they're operating at such a low level that they are so destructive, and people just come and give you their money and leave without it, and they go and suffer in the world. Would you do it? Would you open your doors to have sick people, psychologically and spiritually sick people, come in and throw their money and give it? Would you open up a place that sells poisons, whether cigarettes or drugs, for people to come in because they're sick and buy those substances that damage them, that cause problems? Cigarette smoking has killed more people in the world than all the world wars put together. People have died, apparently, through cigarette smoking more than everybody who died in a war. You know, the world wars. So, and a lot of people died in the world wars. So, this is the thing. Would you? I wouldn't. I wouldn't say, come, here's poison, and have people that are powerless and needy on that, sick people. And I don't say that in a judgmental way. I mean, they are sick. Like unhealthy, sick. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't sell cigarettes to people. I wouldn't open up a casino. I'm not saying I'm moralistically right. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be comfortable with that. So, both sides of that equation are sick. Usually, the gambler is sick, and obviously the people who run the gambling institution, they also not right. You understand? They're unhealthy. And it might be legal, but it's madness. I wouldn't do it. No healthy human being would be inspired to do a business like that. Although it is an opportunity to make a profit, but it's not something that somebody... So whether it's that, or whether it's the people pleaser who's giving away their money, their time, to somebody who's not really benefiting from it, the other person who's not really benefiting from it, both are having a problem, both are in a child personality, both are wounded, both are not seeing things clearly, both are not aware. The question is, will we choose to grow ourselves up? And if truth is told to you, do you acknowledge it and do you accept it? See, do you accept? You can do it. Nobody's asking you to do it. Do you accept what you're doing? Do you see what you're really doing that is not benefiting you at best and harming you at worst? Do you see what you're doing? That's what I'm interested in. I'm not saying that it's wrong to do it and you should stop doing it. I'm not saying it's right to do something else. I'm just asking, can you see what you're doing? If you can see what you're doing, you're not in a trance. If you can't see what you're doing that hurts you and harms you, hurts others and harms them, then you are in a trance. My work is to support you to observe the trances. Because if you observe the trances, you're not lost in them and you're not locked in their control, and you're not going to operate in a way that is, this parasite is feeding off you, costing you your personal power and costing you life enrichment.